So, guys, wonderful good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to our Savio webinar here, our event here on the YouTube channel on SabioTrade. So, first question, because I cannot see what you actually see. So, maybe you can give me a hint if you can hear me, if you can see me. Ah, wonderful. Okay, because I cannot see my cam by myself. That's really, really cool. So just give me a sec. Great. So just a second. Ah, I can see myself here right now. That's really cool. Okay. Yo, now I have a second window here open. Now I can see myself. Thomas, and all Frenchmen, great to see you here. That's really, really cool. I'm really happy that we can talk about this interesting topic today in the naming, uh, in name of SabioTrade. I'm really happy to be the trader and the teacher who can share my experience and my knowledge with you. I'm really happy to do so. If you have any questions, please type in the chat box, and whatever is in your mind and what fits to your to our topic today, I will do my best to give you all answers you need to know to be a good trader. Okay, today's topic, very, very interesting: building the ultimate trader, skills development and continuous learning. That's a kind of topic. And there is another interesting question we need to talk about. Is there a special age to be a good trader? Or we can say, are you too old? Are you too young to trading? What kind of skills do we need? What should we do to continue learning in trading? And the only thing what I can do, ladies and gentlemen, is to share my knowledge. I'm not a better trader than you. Maybe the only benefit or the only advantage I have is experience, 25 years of trading. So that's me. And in the back, you can see there is my award. I got an award at the most distinguished trader in Africa and in Asia. And I do trading for a living for 25 years now. And I have my own education and trading company. It's Know-how Trading. Know-how is a combination about the perfect know-how about the Dow approach from Charles Dow, and later the Turtle Traders, Richard Donchian, and so on and so on. And Know-how Trading continues the Turtle Trade experiment with the same rules and same success, by the way. And this is what we do every day in intraday trading and in higher time frames, 4-hourly chart, 6-hourly chart, daily chart, and on and on and on. This is what we do every day. By the way, I trade for an asset management with a little bit more value, a little bit higher accounts. So I guess one of my experiences I can share, that I know to trade with small accounts and with huge accounts, million of dollars accounts, and I know how to trade with a small account also. So if you have any questions, go to the homepage knowhow-trading.com, or if you want to have a call with me, if you are interested on any kind of education or about prop trading with SabioTrade like that, then send me an email on info@knowhow-trading.com. So the topic of today is developing or creating an ultimate trader. Part of my education was that I have learned to go deeper. If I want to figure out and if I want to have more insights, then my teachers taught me over the time, always go deeper. Or as I used to say in my online logic course, put plastic shoes on and go to the basement where you have to turn on the light because everybody is looking at the great buildings. Oh, I want to be a cool trader. But in trading, as in life also, we work with cause and effect, the ultimate and the universal law of dependent origination, which means cause and effect. And therefore, in the first place, we want to talk about what means ultimate. So the topic of today was building the ultimate trader. What means ultimate? The dictionary says ultimate means the best, the most, or greatest of its kind. Beyond, or the third one, to use ultimate to describe the final result or aim of a long series of events. But the most important part of the dictionary says beyond which is impossible to go. So therefore, it's an interesting part. What means ultimate? Okay, ultimate means the best, the most, the greatest of its kind. But is this really working? What means the best? What means the most or the greatest? Are that terms of perception? What means the best trader for you? What means the most whatever for you? Is it the same like I think it's the most? It's always the same like the old famous example of this thing. So if you see this thing and I ask you, what is this thing, what you can see here in the camera, then maybe you might say, yeah, this is a pen. Yeah. So, of course, for me, it's also a pen. But here we go. Try to focus on the top or on the tip, on the top or on the lower point. If you focus on the top or on the lower point, interestingly, you cannot see the pen at all because you're focused on the top or on the lower point. That means it's a kind of perception. So, and now if we use this thing, and maybe there is a dog coming into my office, and I put this thing in front of the nose of the dog, what would do the dog with this thing? Maybe snuffling a little bit, but maybe riding on it, which means for the dog, is this thing not a pen? For the dog, it's a chew toy. It's a chew toy, something to play. So now the next question is, when we talk about this ultimate, does the pen come from the pen or does the pen come from me? That's the big question. Think about, for me, I can type on it. I can write with it. The dog do nothing. For the dog, it's a chew toy, no more no less. So, and now if you go to the jungle deep in Brazil, or where in the deepest jungle, and there are people that have never seen such a thing, what do you think they would do with that? Of course, not writing. So, which means this thing has not an ultimate character. Because if the pen were a pen in an ultimate character, every human living being would see this thing as a pen, but it's not. So that means the thing comes from me, the pen comes from me and not from the pen. This is when we talk about ultimate. So when we talk That's the best. That's the most important part. That's the greatest song ever. And you ask other people, they would say, nah, of course not. For me, that's the best trader. For me, that's the most important part in trading. And another one said, no, that's the greatest song ever. I love Elvis Presley, for example. Yeah. Osman, greetings to United Arab Emirates. Thanks for being here. So that means basically the topic for today is very interesting, building an ultimate trader, which is basically impossible, which is basically absolutely impossible, because the only thing which is ultimate in this life is what? Just think a second. What is the only ultimate thing which happens for every being, living being? Quite sure you know that. Yeah, it's the death. Because every living being has to die at any point, at any time. That's the only ultimate thing. There's another example to explain what means ultimate. So the Mount Everest, for example, in the Himalaya mountains, the Mount Everest is on this planet Earth the highest mountain on this planet Earth, the Mount Everest. But only for people that know the Mount Everest, right? If you were living in Colombia, if you were living in the deepest forest, in the deepest jungle in Brazil, and you don't know the Mount Everest, you might say, no, this is my highest mountain. So you see, even the Mount Everest is not ultimate. Is not ultimate. That's very interesting. So if we talk about building the ultimate trader, we might say we want to build the best trader for you, that you can be the best trader for yourself, but only for you. And that's what we need to talk. And if we talk about a successful trader, then we need to talk about any skills. How to create, what kind of skills do we need? Where does skills come from, by the way? What kind of skills do we need? And how we can continue with learning in trading. It's very important, especially if you want to master the challenges in prop trading, which we do in our community, in our family, with our intraday trading in DAX 5-minute charts. And we go through the levels because we do it together. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, my question now is, what are your skills? Where are you good at it? If we talk about skills, then we talk about the way you grew up, about your educational journey. Maybe you went to school, to the primary school, then to the middle school, maybe to the high school, then to the university, then maybe you have learned a normal job, whatever. So this is our educational way. But what were your first skills when you got birth? None. There were no skills. The only skills were you could cry. Yeah, you could cry and you could shout, because a baby after birth is just crying and shouting and screaming because it's damn it cold and I'm hungry and thirsty. Yeah. So, but there are no skills. So where does the skills come from? Does skills come from yourself, or does skills come from outside? I give you an example. We have learned that we can get a good result as long as we stick to rules. For example, traffic laws. Yeah? If you see the red light in the traffic jam, the traffic, then you know you have to stop. If you cross the light, if you cross or if you drive through the red light, if you cross the street with your car, maybe you hit an egg, you had an accident, you get a ticket. So if you break the rules, you get a punishment. This is basically the way how we get educated. And that's our skills. So when you create your first own skills, yeah, maybe when you get older, when you are in youth, when you are a child, yeah, some childs were good in playing piano or in playing violin or maybe with the handcraft, handmade things, yeah, or singing or playing or whatever there is, yeah, that's the point. Just a sec. That's the point. When you get older, you figured out the things where are you good at it. And then you follow your own skills in your education. But you get educated from outside because you have teachers. If you're living in a normal Western hemisphere, for example, and you can have a normal life, maybe not really poor in Asia and Africa, where this is really kind of really difficult, then you can send your kids to the school or you were in school by yourself. Why? Because you cannot teach yourself reading, writing, working, whatever. Why do you send your kids to the school? Because there are teachers, they have experience, and they teach you and they teach your kids. And you got taught by teachers. But where does your own skills come from? Just only from you. And you will figure it out during the time. And one thing we have learned in our whole life is that we get almost the same result every time we do always something the same was, like with your job. I'll give you an example. You want to cook a new meal. So you have your receipt. Is this the right word? Just a sec. Where is my translation? Just a moment. So just receipt. A receipt. Exactly. That's the right word. So if you want to cook a new meal, then you have the receipt. So that means you read the receipt and you cook exactly of the instructions of the receipt for your new meal. Yeah. And if you follow every single point on this receipt, then you will have a good meal. If the meal does not taste really good, then maybe you mix salt and pepper, you mix salt and sugar, for example, you made a mistake. Yeah, so you fix the mistake and then it's fine. Okay, maybe the meal does not taste for everybody, but basically it's a good meal. So in the future, whenever you will cook the same recipe, which means you have the same result as long as you don't mix salt and sugar, or if you forget something like that. So this is what we have learned. I'll give you another example about learning. So you want to learn a new language. Like me, I have learned a couple of years before I started. Okay, in my middle school, I had English a little bit, but around about 5 years ago, I decided I want to spread my knowledge to the rest of the world, which means I need to talk English. And actually, at the moment, I learn Thai language because I have an office in Bangkok and I'm going there in 2 weeks. almost 2 weeks. April the 5th, fly over to Bangkok again for 4 weeks. So we have some webinars when I'm over in Bangkok, by the way. So I learn basically Thai. And 5 years ago, I started to relearn again English. So how do we learn? It's always the same. The more you learn vocabulary and grammar, the better you can read and you can talk and speak. So today, you see, I'm available. My English is not perfect. I hope you understand me. And I know my grammar, sometimes I miss some words. I have to Google it. Sometimes my grammar is not the best. But basically, everybody is basically able to understand me. So, but what was the cause? That's the effect. What was the cause? I have learned everyday vocabulary. I have learned everyday grammar. I started to watch videos in English. I watched to start Netflix series in English. I started to make my first videos in English. I started to first make webinars in English. Now my community is 10% with English speaking people from the rest of the world. I make everything I do in English, German, and English. Yeah? So the more you do, the better the result. So, and now I can speak English. So that's it's like your job. And then your job is the same. It was really excited when you start the first day in your job. You remember the first day in your job? You remember? Everything was exciting. Yeah, you were looking for the toilet, you were looking for the cafeteria, you were looking for the coffee machine, you were looking, oh, where the good guys, where the nice, where the bad guys. Yeah, but with every day more you go to your job, after 1 week, you know where is the cafeteria, you know where's the coffee machine, you know where's the toilet, who is the boss, who is talking with, and something like that. So after 1 month, yeah, it's routine. Yeah, it's routine. That's what we have learned. That's our skills. We go through our whole life. And we also know that punishment usually follows a failure to handle our part of bargain, which means when everything is going wrong, you got a ticket, you drove too fast, you crossed the red light, yeah? Or you get a bad result in your job from your boss, you get a bad meeting, you get a punishment from your boss, whatever there is, then you know, oh, damn it, I made something wrong. Then you get a punishment. So that's our skills. That's our basic human skills. Most of us come to trading with exactly that skills, with exactly this kind of mindset. And now we used to think we can use it for trading as well, especially the point we just have to do the same thing and we got the same result, cause and effect. And I guess in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's not working. Oh my goodness, it's not working. So what should we do? Even we have a well-designed strategy. And by the way, don't think about it. Think about that. The strategy in trading is given. Yeah, we have to make a decision. We have to make a difference between the strategy and the rules, the setup, the approach. Because the strategy in trading is already given, because buy cheap and sell expensive, or sell expensive, buy back cheap. That's the given strategy in trading. As a trader, there is no other chance to make money with buy cheap and sell expensive. But now we need an approach which gives us a mathematical edge in trading for our entry and our exit. So even we have such a well-designed approach, we realize after a couple of time that we lose money despite we stuck to the rules. And that could be really confusing. And 90% of all traders fail in trading. But why? It's simple. Most of the traders think they can use their normal skills, which made them successfully in your normal life. You can use them into into trading. And that is a big, big mistake. And that could be really confusing. So I give you an example. I give you an example. I guess you should see that. So, for example, you have a well-designed strategy. Yeah, you have a well-designed strategy. So that means for example, you make a profit. Yeah. So because you stick to the rules, then you make the next profit. Huh? And you say, yeah, cool. And you make the next profit. Yeah, really cool. Yeah. What you don't realize at that moment, that sometimes here you make $5, here you make $2, and here you make $10. Yeah. So for example, but this you don't realize at that moment. You just see the profits. Yeah. 3 profits in a row. Yeah. And then something happened. Then the first loss. And then the second loss. Even you stuck to the rules. And now the third loss in a row. And here you lose $20, here you lose $50, here you lose $10. At the end, you lost more than you won before. So that's the way. And then something happened because it's confusing at that moment if you think you can use the same skills you use in your trade, in your life, you can use in trading. Because now you don't understand the world anymore. Because bloody hell, what's going on here? I stuck to the rules. Why I lost money now? One time is okay. Yeah, accident. Second time, not funny, but it's okay. But the third time in a row, or worse, 4, 5 times in a row, then you don't understand. You don't understand the world anymore. What's going on? That's confusing. Less people understand that we talk about the law of probability, because if you would continue, you can make the next profits. Yeah. Interrupted from 2 losses and next profits. Yeah. So this is kind of law of probability. But most of the people, yeah, stop after a couple of losses, even they're stuck to the rules, because they don't understand what trading and working with probabilities means. So therefore, it's hard to understand how this is working. That could be really confusing. If our trades are running into the stop loss and we lose money, and you don't understand what trading really means, then you take it personally. And you take it as a kind of punishment. Oh, what's going on? What is the market doing with me? What did I do wrong? Here we have the same. Again, if you have your result, if you stick to the rules and you have a good result, for example, you have a good result. Yeah. So, and then you make the next trade and then you get a bad result. Yeah. A bad result. And you don't understand why. You take it personally. In the first place, you do what you ever do, what you're doing every time in your life. You go back and try to figure out where is my mistake? Where did I mix salt and sugar? Because here I stuck to the rules. Everything was fine. Yeah, I got a positive result. And here in the second trade, I do exactly the same. I stuck to my rules, but now I get a bad result. Of course, in the first place, you go back and try to figure out where were you wrong? Did you make something wrong? And then you take it personally because you think, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. But guess what? You did not make a mistake and you got a better result. And then you think, oh, the market is punishing me. And then you take it personally. And that is also very, very confusing for our trading, for our life in trading. Yeah. So because as we said, we think we did something wrong. And then we analyze what we can do better or different next time to avoid the next loss. Huh? And that's really interesting also, guys. That's really, really interesting. Yeah? When you go back, okay, let's say you made a mistake. Yeah, you did not draw the trend perfectly, or you break the rules and you get a bad result. As long as the worst case is if you break the rules and you get a good result. You make money with breaking rules. That's the worst case ever, because then you signalize your brain, no problem, I can break the rules and make money. Okay, that might work for one time, maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times. But the day will come, it might not work anymore, and then you destroy your account. But it's also a worst case when you make a loss and you figure out, oh, I broke the rules. Okay, yeah. Then you go to the next one and say, oh, okay, now I stick to the rules again. Everything, I stick to my rules. But then it's running into the stop loss. Oh my goodness. And you go back and then you figure out, what the hell is going on? I did not make a mistake. So what you do now? Yeah, it's always the same. You try to figure out a new approach. You change the system. Maybe you work with moving averages, for example, and you figure out, now I don't make profits, even I stuck to rules. You change the system. Then you go to the Bollinger Bands. Then you go to any other indicators, or you work with supply and demand, with support and resist, all that things you can use in your trading. But at the end, there's always the same point. You make losses, you make profits, and then you make losses. And you don't understand why. And this is what we call the circle of suffering as a beginner. Shortcut as a beginner. The circle of suffering. Why? Because a beginner who does not understand trading at all is trying to avoiding losses. Yeah, this is what a beginner is trying to do. To try to avoid losses. And then he changed the system. He changed the strategy. And he made always the same experience. You have profits and you have losses. And the losses mostly are way higher than your profits. And then you change the system again. And you keep going in this so-called circle of suffering. And by the way, only the path of logic leads you out of the circle of suffering. And this is what beginners are mostly doing. They try to find a better way, but they always used to avoid the next loss. But you cannot. Why? Because losses are a part of the game, because we work with probabilities. Human experience. Do you think it's a good thing if you're old enough as a trader? So that was the skills. The last time what we talked now, that was the skills. Yeah. That was the skills. Yeah. How we get trained in life, how we get educated in life. What about our experience? So, sorry. Here we go. So, regardless of your age, it doesn't matter if you're young or if you're a little bit older, you have to accept the inevitable thing, which is trading is based on probability, and you have no guarantees or 100% guarantee. Never, ever. Because it's the same. Just a moment. As you know, you are at the right edge of the chart. And here, at the right edge of the chart, you have to make a decision, going long or going short. That's a decision you have to make. Once you make your trade, for example, actually in DAX, I am short. Yeah, I can show you, just a moment. Now you can see, yeah, it's a trend. Actually, I'm short. My stop loss is here a little bit higher. Yeah, so that's now the right edge of the chart. Based on my rules, I made a short. Why? Yeah, the trend is short. I came out of the correction. A trend continuation is always more probably than a trend break. But now the point is this. Can I do something? Can I, me as a trader, as Marcus the trader, what can I do that the price is going down now? Can I do something? I know your answer. No, of course not. Personally, I can do nothing. The only thing what I can do is trust. Trust my strategy. Trust my system. And trust the probability. That's the reason why I have a stop loss. That's the reason why I calculated my money. Because I don't have a guarantee. I just have probabilities, no more nor less. So I can do basically nothing that the trade is going into my direction, which means I'm the right edge of the chart. So the only thing is I have probabilities. Guys, and that's not skills we have in general. In our life, we don't need to work all the time with probabilities because we got educated, learn a lot, and you got the same result. Learn more vocabularies, learn more grammar, and you will talk a language and foreign language very, very soon. For example, if you are maybe self-employed, if you have your own business, then you have learned in your life maybe, okay, instead of calling 10 people a day, call 100 people a day. Because the probability that you get a contract or a new order for your shop is way higher if you call 100 people than 10, which means this is the law of the big numbers. The more you do, the better the result. Is this working in trading too? Does it mean if you trade more, if you have more trades, that you get a better result? I know it is not. And I'm quite sure you figured out this by yourself in the meantime. It is not. So which means we need to work with probabilities. So now here comes the big question. Is it easier to accept this inevitable thing if you are young or if you're an elderly people? If you're a little bit more mature age, where is it easier to accept that you have to work with probabilities? If you have a strategy with a hit rate of more than 50%, So trend following, which I do with my community, has a hit rate of over 70%, which means if you make 10 trades, 7 trades in average are going into the profit, 3 going to the loss. But what you don't know is in which order the plus and minus trades are coming up. That's the law of coincidence, which is included in the law of probability. Don't forget that. So you need to understand that a very good trader must be more a dedicated risk manager or money manager because you work with probabilities. And the question is this easier while young or old? That depends on your skills, how you get educated. So is it easier to accept all those things which are necessary for trading while you're young or old? So, and there are ups and downs in trading. It's going up and down, plus and minus. Therefore, your mindset or your willingness, your willpower must be strong enough. So the question is, how strong are you? Can you manage such ups and downs? Can you manage that you don't know what's going on the right edge of the chart? Yeah? Can you manage that? Can you manage that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 losses in a row before the next profit will come around? Is it easier while you're young or old? Is it easier you have a lot of skills or you have less skills because you are a young guy or a young girl? So you see, there is no ultimate trader, but we have to develop a trader because our brain and our whole skills in our life are not made and prepared for trading. That's really and very, very important. Is now human experience, if you are kind of elderly people, is it now a benefit for trading? For example, if you have many, many skills, you have many things you are good at it, you have a strong willpower, is this a benefit for trading? Now we have to say human experience have two sides or points of view. Having a lot of experience in your life is good in the sense that you can keep your inner balance, that you have inner stability, which means as an elderly people with a lot of experience in your life, yeah, you are more focused on targets. So you know what is working for you. If you are young people, yeah, then the way is really dark in front of you. There is no enlightenment. Maybe you're fighting with yourself. You don't know what you like. You don't know your likes and your dislikes. Yeah, you don't know what you want to learn. You don't know if you want to get married. You don't know if you want a girl or a man or whatever there is. So, but if you're an elderly people, then you know what you want. But there are always two sides of the medal. A disadvantage of a lot of life experience is a very strong ego. That's me. That's me. Huh? What is your ego? Ego is just another word for you. That's your meaning. That's what is you. An ego is just the result of your life experiences. That's you. Ego is basically nothing bad. It just has a bad character because people say, she has a strong ego. That just means you have a lot of life experience and you know what you want and you know what you don't want, by the way. Strong ego could be a big disadvantage because you are too strong in your opinions. And your ego is a part of your brain as a result, which innate instinctive impulses and primary processes are manifested. Because you say, no, that's my believing. That's me. I don't need to change. That's me. Even trading is not working well. That's me. I think that the market must going down. I go short and the market is going up and up. I think the market must go down. I think gold cannot go higher. I go short. And you lose money and lose money. The older you are, the stronger your ego and your believings and your belief principles. And the older you are, the harder it is to change, which means for experienced human, it's so bloody hard to change your way of thinking. And I don't want to talk about mindset, because what is mindset? Mindset is just another word. How do you think about different things? And the way of your thinking is just dependent origination. It's just about a way of your education. How old are you? The older you are, the more and the stronger are your belief principles. And the harder it is to change your own way of thinking. As we know, our whole human experience is mostly based on strange influences and our education. When we were children, we used to live safely and have guarantees because our parents were caring and parenting. Yeah? Umbrella moms. Yeah? Caring parenting. There are guarantees for us. Even we are revolution, even we are fighting against mom and dad, we are not afraid to do so. We don't have any fear to fight with mom and dad because we know that's my guarantee. Of course, normal parents, by the way, yeah, love me. Mom and dad loves me. So even I can, so no, I don't want to go to my bed. No, I don't want to eat that. No, I don't want to make my homework right now. Yeah, of course, why do we fight? Why do we show our own willpower right now? Now, there is no target, by the way. There is no logical target because we just say yes or no. We just want to different to mom and dad. That's very interesting. Why? Because we have guarantees. Because mom and dad loves me. So the biggest mistake some new traders make is to accept the same in trading. Because our mind is constructed in a special way and is not made for trading at first. And the problem is the older you are, the harder is it to change your believings, to change the way of thinking. But in trading, you have to change the way of thinking. You have to. Because trading is completely different to every life principles. Our way of thinking, the way we are, our own skills, we need to develop for trading to continue with learning. Our whole ego is a part of our subconsciousness. And this is most responsible for most of our actions. Our basal ganglia, where the routines are working on. But this is based on education and experience. But that was not our own skills. It came from outside, built by other people, like my parents, grandparents, teachers, educators, and friends. And there is a well-known and famous quote, You are the average of the 5 people you have spent the most time with. Why the smokers are in one corner? Why the vegan people and the vegetarian people in one corner? Why do the sports people spend time with each other? Why? Because you are the average of the 5 people you have spent the most time with. So, guys, the point is, if you want to become a trader, which people should surrounding you? That's why so many people have problems in trading, because they are suffering about loneliness, because they feel lonely. Yeah, you can read the news, you can go to whatever, any forum or something like that, or any groups on Facebook, something like that. The people are shouting long, the next shouting short, all that bullshit. So if you want to learn trading, for example, and if you want to be a trend follower, then you should be surrounded by people that all do the same like you. That's why I have a community. Well, that's why I call my community Dao family, because we have a family, which means all of us, we exactly follow the same principles. Doesn't matter how old or young we are. So, and if you think you can use your belief principles for trading, then believe me, you are completely wrong. And you cannot be successful in trading. It is not possible. Which means, to create an ultimate and successful trader, you need to change your skills. You cannot use your belief principles for trading. So, how to develop? Can you, independent of your age, can you learn new trading skills? There is just only a simple answer to this question. No, you're never too old for trading. For example, part of my traders I can coach are between 60 and 80. I love them. So kind, nice people. But they are willing to change, even they are very, very old. So even as trading, I learn a lot from those guys and ladies. I learn a lot because they are so kind and so nice. And I'm so honored to have elder people in my community, my family. Regardless of your age, it doesn't matter if you're young, a medium, or an elderly people. All traders have the same challenge to cope: changing the way of thinking, changing your skills. And as long as you think you can do it that by your own, it is not possible, because only a teacher can enlighten your way. You cannot enlighten yourself. Only an enlightened teacher can give you enlightenment on your way. There is no other way. If you are young, yeah, a younger person has the big benefit of not having a strong ego or too many belief principles right now. That's the big benefit of a young guy, young man, young people. So it's easier to change the way of thinking and build up new knowledge and principles. That's way easier when you are young instead of being elder or older. Yeah. But young traders have different challenges, because based on their young age, they are not really focused and they want to discover new things all the time. And that's, for me as a coach, is really hard. If I have young people in my family, they always come up and I'm asked, can I discover this? Can we use this indicator? Can I say, no, we cannot, because it's not working, but I want to try. And I say, yeah, go on, try it. Yeah, I know you will come back and say, oh, fuck, that was wasting of time. Yeah, I say, oh, really? Yeah, That's the disadvantage of being young. Yeah. So discovering new things is cool. And maybe I would say also necessary for your life, but bad for trading and a huge waste of time. Keep going learning. To become a very good trader means learning what is working for trading and not using your own skills. So, continuous learning means regardless of if you are young or little older, everybody, that's my personally as a perspective, everybody has the right and the chance to become successful in trading. But only there's one requirement to do so, and that's your real why. Do you have a strong reason why to become a trader? An ultimate successful trader? What's your real why? I know most of the young traders would say, "Yeah, I'm making money." Yeah, fine. But why you break the rules? If money were the real strong why beyond or behind your motivation, why you break your rules? Why is it so hard to close the gap between knowing and doing consistently? Why? Money is not a real why. Love, that's a strong why. Parents know that. Parents would die for the kids. Why are you shouting your kids when they're running to the street? Because you are scared of, because you know what could happen. That's love. Love, ladies and gentlemen. That's a strong why. So if you love to stick to the rules, then you will stick to the rules all the time and you will never break the rules. So the question is, are you willing to achieve your targets? And do you really want to change your way of thinking, to progress and develop new skills? If you're really willing to start a new journey, your age will never be an obstacle. Never. It's just a strong why and the willpower to close the gap between knowing and doing all the time. Let's make a conclusion. We are not made for trading at all, not at all, because we have to work with probabilities. And after 100 of coaching hours, I may say that for younger people, it is easier to learn something new, but also for elder people. And if you think you can use your belief principles for trading, then you are wrong and you cannot become successful in trading. But if you're really willing to start a new journey and go with me to discover new galaxies, then you are the right person. And your age will never be an obstacle, which means as long as you're willing to learn with a teacher, then you have a great chance. And then, guys, you have a great chance to cope the challenges here on SabioTrade. And here I give my personal code, 25% discount of all challenges with this code, Trade with Marcus 25, without a space in between. Trade with Marcus 25. That's your personal discount as my gift for you if you open an account here on SabioTrade. Yeah. And I'm really happy to work and to trade with you. Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to talk to you. Let me say thank you to SabioTrade also, that I can be a little bit the face of SabioTrade, that I can be your teacher here. Thank you very much, and especially for your precious lifetime. I hope we see each other next Tuesday again, same time with the next topic. The video you will find here on the video channel, on the YouTube channel here on SabioTrade. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, have courage and be kind, and may the force of the logic be with you. See you next week.